Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the last and final, not final, the last of the workshop of this particular series, should I say, not the end of what I do. One thing I wanted to just remind everybody is that when you set your mind to something and you want to co-create and be in service, even though challenges arise, we just come here and we do what we got to do. My level of commitment to do this for everyone that's watching here, this is where I love what I love to do. Do want to give you guys all a big fair warning. I do got sick kids at home, so they might be joining us on and off. Can't help that today. So we it's
Part of the
been,
normal life of a nurse coach, right?
I swear, it's like when it rains, it pours. My husband's traveling, the kids are sick. And it's always when my husband travels. Never fails. Never fails. It's like one of those things where I'm like, can I just have 1 week when you travel and nothing goes wrong? Like, answer's no. So, just a fair warning, if not one, if not two, if not all three might show up in part of this training. And they just say hi, hello, and then they move on. I'm actually really excited about this last one. So we talked about YouTube, we've spoken about clarity, we've spoken about LinkedIn visibility, how to be visible out there, how do you get your content out there? We've worked on creating that irresistible offer, and whether that's for corporations, whether that's for one-on-one, whether that's for retreats, it's really now putting it all together. And the real best way to do it is to have a one-page flyer. A one-page flyer is very much like a resume, except it's just nice. Just, this is one that I've done, like one of my first ones actually I did when I was helping parents with special needs one. And it's just nice just to be like, hey, what is it that you do? And you just hand it, you can just hand this off. Or you're able to just set yourself up on LinkedIn where it's like people are asking, you don't have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. And it's really one you want to co-create a one-page flyer that fits your brand, that fits your personality, that really sets you apart for making it for you. So I always remind people when we're doing these one-page flyers, they need to be professional, obviously. There's no questions around that. But make it so it's personable, right? Make it so it's you. Make it so that it's fun. Don't be scared to play with colors. Don't be scared to play with different designs. And that's all about the magic. So a lot of people are like, you see them on Canva, there's a lot of templates out there. And when you're in Canva and you like a template that works for you, remember, you're able to change it to your brand colors. How many of you are familiar with Canva? Okay, ish. Okay. Yeah. So once I go through my slide deck, I will show you guys how to choose certain templates and how we start co-creating just a little bit on branding it in Canva. Because the minute you guys get really familiar with Canva, and it could be whatever type of design, like Adobe, whatever you're using, okay? There's some other stuff that's out there's some other softwares out there now that can co-create it for you, and that's fine. You can also go on Fiverr and pay somebody $20 to get it to pay for it yourself, and they can do it for you. You just have to make sure that all of your content, which we will go through in this slide deck, you want to make sure that all of your content is like on a Google Doc first. So it's easier to plug and play. Okay. I think that's a lot of times what holds up people to doing a one-page flyer is that they overthink what they need to place on the flyer. And it does not need, like this one, honestly, like this was like one of my first flyers. I help parents with special needs. It's very simple, very clean. And it just has little bullet points and just my thing with the picture of me and my child. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, mine is going to show you it can be very robust, but mine previously, and I'll show you guys some of my old slide decks. like it wasn't this robust 4 years ago. So just to remind all of you guys that like a one-page flyer is like if you had a resume and it's like you put a perfume on it. I don't know, I'm just laughing, but it works, right? If you put something on there that's different and you're like all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, what's that?" You want to do it where something makes you stand out and it's easy for them to shuffle through. So when you're in organizations and they have multiple offers, or if you're on LinkedIn and they have different things that are coming through, a one-page flyer is a real quick one, like real quick glance of what do you offer, what do you do, and how do you solve it. And it makes their job so much more easier, especially when you are up against multiple people. If you are in a state of bid war or something else, a one-page flyer can really make it easier. Also, a one-page flyer could be really easy if you're wanting to speak at conferences. If you want to be a vendor somewhere and everyone's, what is it that you do? And you don't want to send everything. A one-page flyer is a cute, short, simple way to be like, here you are. This is me at a snapshot. And if you like more information, if you like more answers, if you like something else, we can have another conversation. We can have another conversation. And that's a good way to get people on a call. Because remember, primarily, whether it's a one-on-one client and or a business and or a retreat, a hospital, whoever you are serving, the main goal is to get them on a call. But you want to give them as much information ahead of time so the people who are coming on your calls are high quality, high leads, and they're most likely going to tell you yes and or I have to wait for X, Y, and Z. But they're already going to be in your funnel in your system, but they're already going to trust you. They're already going to feel like they've known you because of giving them certain things, and they'll understand exactly what you offer from a one-page flyer. All right, so let me pull up my slide deck. Oops, present. So just welcome to the Irresistible one-page flyer. And just again, like we spoke about this already, but just a quick reminder, there is a recap for week 3. We can place that in the chat. That is for presence and visibility. The YouTube takeaway, remember visibility with intention. And all these are, the replays are available. But I want to just ask you guys what we've been doing. What's one word that describes your energy coming into today? Place that into the chat today. How are your guys' energy? I know mine is a little low because I have sick kids. Sore. Did you work out? Mentally exhausted. Yeah. Optimistic. Oh, I hurt my shoulder. Oh, okay. Okay. Just making sure. Low battery, but ready. It seems like there's a common theme, honestly, in the month of May, when we are transitioning from month of May to beginning of June. It always seems like there's a lull in this month. And energetically, I can talk about this a little bit more, but energetically, I think it's because we're going into summer. A lot of things are going, we're coming out of hibernation. We're going out of this. I don't know. I live in California, but we have like weird bipolar weather right now. So it's like the high, the lows, the dust, we're getting used to this new, at least again in California for us with the time zone changes, people, like we're a lot of us are feeling it. So if we're all feeling like that low, draining energy, that is very common right now. A lot of people, even in all industries, are feeling it. So you're not alone. Okay. So the goal for this is to create a one-page flyer that stands out. And for it to really speak, and I say corporate decision makers, but it's anyone with clarity. Okay. Showcasing your solution in one page, not multiple pages, not front and back, one page. and designing a clear offer and method that speaks their language. So we remember what I spoke about. Remember what I spoke about this last week or on the clarity call 2 weeks ago is that, and even last week, is that we want to speak your client's language, not what language you think you want them to hear, but you want to speak the language that they want to hear and how to position yourself in a very high pro level way.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, okay. So this is my current this is my current one-page flyer. Does it seem to a lot of you, does this seem to be a little overwhelming? Yes, I'm hearing some net yeses.
looks a little busy.
Busy? Yeah. So it's interesting on how you say that because see how when our perception comes in where it looks busy, it feels overwhelming. This is the one-page flyer that I send to corporations and I get an instant reply back. This is the one. I've done multiple different things because I thought it was too busy. I thought it was this, but it gave them a glance of everything what I do in one page with case studies on why it works and how to get a hold of me. And this is the one that works. It's very interesting, but it's interesting on how initially I thought the same thing. I was like, man, this is really interesting. Like, it's really too busy. Maybe we should take some stuff out. Maybe we should do this. And if this answers the how do you integrate? How do you come into my, how do you come into my, how do you become embedded into my work? What other, if I don't want, if I don't want one-on-one service, what other services can you provide? What goals do you have for my employees? What, and this has been questions, what evidence-based practice do you have that's proven for you? And if you notice, these are very generalized goals. Why? Because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So what we're going to talk about is we are going to take my one-page flyer and we're going to break it down step by step. Please ask questions. If you have a question in between, please ask questions. Okay? Because sometimes, just like last week, LinkedIn can be very heavy. Sometimes, same thing with the one-page flyer. All right. So the first thing is you want to have your heading and logo. So right on top, on the top of the page, if this is an 8x8, you want it right on the top. You can see even in the back of the days, I still followed my own rules. You want a one-page title and a headline. Now, you want your headline to be your clear offer. That's what your headline's going to be. This is where you might not write, I help or I empower. This is where you're going to make a statement. Relieving HR challenges by addressing the silent struggles to improve workforce. You want to make it very clear with what you are doing. The other thing is you want to make sure your picture is a perfect, like you can do, hey, y'all, like phones, all that works, okay? Like you can take a nice selfie on your phone and place it there. I'm okay with that. And you want to put your company with your name. A lot of times people, when they put their picture, they forget to put their name. People know who you are, but they want to know who your name is as well. And you want to make it where your headline is addressing the market's pain point. So can you guys see here where it says I'm alleviating the HR challenges and improving workforce? Those are the two things that they're going to see. They might not understand addressing the silent struggle. They might not hear that or read that. They might not be like, I don't know what that means. But what they're going to read and what's going to capture them is challenges and improved workforce. Do you see how we're captivating the main pain point in it with utilizing it in a statement? Now, in between, by addressing they're probably going to overread it. And when you overread that, that is where the one-page flyer comes in because now you're going to address it. Now they're going to be like, what is she talking about with a silent struggle? What is this? What is she saying? With me so far? Yeah? Thumbs up if you're with me so far? Okay. Now we want to do, this is now where the introduction paragraph comes. It solves the, what is she talking about here? This is where it really is talking about what the silent struggle comes in. And I literally state that. This is where the silent struggle solution comes in. Because you already know, psychology wise, they're going to ask me, what does this mean? So, right there up in the beginning, I've already answered their question. So now they're already ready to move on. But when we're going from a big place to an introduction paragraph, a lot of the times, if you're not super clear or don't ask those, it doesn't answer the questions that they're already facing in their head, they're more likely not to go to move past it or they'll just skim it. Okay. So here is where I say workplace stress and personal challenges can impact productivity, engagement, job satisfaction, leaving HR directors burdened with the support with supporting struggling employees in managing their their core responsibilities. Now, this is because I've been doing this for many years where we were able to perfect the actual language. Your messaging does matter. If you have a hard time with this, I tell a lot of you guys, like you can use ChatGPT. This is kind of where you can ask your audience, like, hey, how does this sound? Does this relate to you? Is this relatable? And then it talks about this is where the offer comes in. This is where I can support you. This is really where you're giving them the solution right up front. You've given them the problem and you've already stated your solution, and the solution needs to be you. And keep it brief. I put it here. It's like our holistic wellness program addresses physical, psychological, and emotional. I left it very general again. Leave it as general as you can so that way you have room to grow or you have room to have conversations. With me? Okay. Once we get through the introduction, you want to talk about your methodology, your framework. This is where what you do, your evidence-based practice. If you are like a somatic healer, I probably should now probably add in here NLP certified hypnosis therapy, goal setting. It's what you do to promote that, and only 3 or 4 bullet points max. They don't need to know your whole life story. Okay. And you don't also, I also didn't even write NLP here because technically mine that falls under mindfulness and stress reduction strategies. Somatic practices, that's where I can do a lot of my guided imagery. This is also where I can also put my hypnotherapy in here. Nutritional and lifestyle coaching. Okay. This is where the goal setting is. Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating enough? Are you doing what? Do you see how we're able to really maximize what we do, but we want to leave it in a very general and broad way, and then adding the specific tools to how you're going to solve that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyone have any questions right now? Okay. If you do, let me know. This one's a little bit more straightforward, but that's why I like this because it's very systematic. And I know a lot of us nurses and coaches, we like systems. So this works. Now, you want to then put the benefits for the decision makers. So if mine benefits for HR leader, if yours benefit for women in workforce, benefit for leaders, benefit for busy moms, benefit whatever it is that who your target audience is, that is where you want to write why it benefits that particular population. So if you serve two populations, then right, it benefits moms and it benefits dads. Right? Let me see who I know on here. Okay, let me see. Like genies. Genies would be benefit for faith-based for nurses and the benefit for faith-based nurses that want to leave bedside or something. So you want to go with who it benefits. And here you want to add 2 to 3 specific outcomes for your service. So very detailed in the sense of the benefits for HR. Focus on strategic strategy without managing a personal crisis. Drive innovations. These are also like almost like KPIs. These are also where you can put in different measures if you want it to, if you're in the hospital setting specifically and it says, oh, how does this help? How does this help the CNO? And it benefits for hospital leaders. It's like can decrease burnout, decrease fall reductions, whatever it is, you want to be able to place that here. And then also, how does that benefit the second category? And in my case, it'd be the employees. Overall wellness, increase enhanced satisfaction, increase engagement and retention, and better team dynamic. You really want to make sure that this is very clear. And this is why, if you guys look back from 2 weeks ago, the clarity of your offer has to be super clear in order to get your one-page flyer like really feel concise. And just remember, a one-page flyer grows with you. It's not a one and done type of thing. So if your offer starts changing and if your language starts changing, change your one-page flyer. It should grow with you as you're continuing your journey. All right. The other one is what to expect. This is really important because people always want to know what they're paying for. They want to know the value. They want to know, okay, so why you? Like, why should I hire you versus Stephanie or Zoe? Right? Like, why should I hire you over everybody else? And it's very clear. I'm giving them clear expectations. You get one-on-one support. You get lunch and learns. You get workshops. There's no misconception. There's no ambiguity here. Oh, I thought you said this. No, I didn't. You read it. It's written. It's there. It's very clear and direct. So when people are looking for specific lunch and learns, it's okay. Let's build it. Let's co-create that. And then you can put on the side like tailored workshops. Workshops comes in. It boosts engagement. So you also want to make it clear and concise so people understand exactly know what they're getting. What can you expect? Okay. Shocked my kids haven't ran up yet. And then the benefits for decision making for the decision maker leaders. This is how do you integrate this into your practice? So here I put how, because a lot of the times, a lot of my companies will ask me, well, like, how do you integrate with the entire company? So I literally put it on the flyer. Phase 1, HR integration. Phase 2, employee integration. Say now if you are doing, I don't know, IV hydration. I don't know, just because of that, I just started doing that or finally got that here in California. So it's like, how would that work? Phase 1 might be book a call, set up an appointment, get the MD report, do all the paperwork. And then phase 2 is pick a day and time and I come to your house. So it doesn't always have to be super, it doesn't have to be super duper complicated, but we do want them to see that it's super easy. And all they have to do is X, Y, and Z in order for you to book a call. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. I personally like to put case studies or client success on one-page flyers. Okay. And how this is the way that I like mine to be structured, and this is what I've seen that works the best on in any type of case study. And here, obviously, the names are fake. David and Sonali are fake names. And you can just put client one, client two, or if they give you permission, you can go to their names. And I like to write what the challenge was. So if it's a one-on-one client or a corporation, what was the challenge that particular person faced? These are actually real life people. So this one was a manager with ADHD. He struggled with task management and missing deadlines. What was your solution? And then the results and how this benefits, why the benefits goes back to what did you solve and how does it go to your global cause. So here the HR benefits increase productivity, reduce stress, fewer missed deadlines, like he's not getting called by HR a lot. There's a lot of different things, but it's super clear cut. And that's why I really do this particular style with the challenge, a solution. You don't have to use this, but anytime you are doing a testimonial or well, in this case, a case study, you really want to make sure that it's result oriented. Okay. They want to know what they started with and how they ended and how did that benefit either themselves if it's a one-on-one client, or how did that support the greater cause to the organization. So I'm a big believer in having at least one, if not two. Testimonials are great if it's a specialized one-page flyer, but I do love case studies for these because they are a little bit more specific. And then, of course, underneath, make sure that you have your contact information. If you have a website, you don't need a website, your email. I have placed all my social media tags because my Facebook I made like 15, 20 years ago before I got married. So I just placed it so that way people realize that if they try to look for me on Facebook, it's Bina Bendale and everyone's looking up like Bina Bendale or Nurse Coach Bina. They're not going to find me on Facebook. It has to be the other way around. So I do want to place that, and because I'm not going to do the whole thing where I'm going to redo my entire Facebook. That's insane. That's just so here is just if they have it, if they're trying to look for me, just to remind everybody that this is what. Just make sure you put all your handles. If you don't want to put all of them and you only want to focus on one, just put the one that you want to focus on. And it can be, and this one is not hyperlinked, but you can hyperlink it so it goes straight to your LinkedIn, it goes straight to your Facebook, or straight to YouTube. Okay. Hyperlinking in Canva is super easy. And that way they can just click it, especially if you send it as a PDF, they can just click it and it goes straight. This is also where if you want, you can do a QR code, and that way they can just directly go on that as well. You just want to make it as easy as you can, but also just listing it so they'll have them there all together. Questions so far? So this is again how mine now looks today, right? And the best thing I can tell you is how to utilize your one-page flyer. I personally, I love a 4x6 or a 5x7. I actually like this size. I don't know if I can see myself. I think I put myself up. Oh, there it is. I like this size. A 5x7, a 4x6, because it's easy to put into your purse. It's also, for men, it's easy to fold and put in their pocket. What I've also learned is that when they have a big 8x10 flyer, these generally end up in the garage trash because they're too big. So I like the 5x7s or the 4x6s. Have a PDF version of it like available. So if you were to email it, like you can just send it off right away. I bring these to networking events, conferences, summits. I keep it with me in my purse or in my car at all times. And if I don't physically have an actual one, then I always make sure that I have the PDF ready to go on my phone. The best way to do that is to text it to yourself. Text it to yourself. So if you come in, you can text them and say, hey, here you go. And if you do that, it's like a ping version. But it's an easier way to just get the information out, and you don't have to pay money for like actual papers. And we're trying to be eco-friendly. You can do it as well. Also, I like to send the PDF after a discovery call or a clarity call, however you want to call it. This is a really good way that when people are on a call with you, say they're meeting you for the first time, this is a really good way to say, hey, here you go. Here's my one-page flyer. Doesn't have numbers or pricing on it, but at least it gives them a run through or a revisit of what you offer, and it keeps it at the back of their head. So if they go, I'm like, oh, what does she do again? How does she, what else? This keeps it from like the 1,001 questions if like people forget. And oh, if they have the one-page flyer, it's something for them to reference, especially if they're on the fence of they're wanting to work with you or they're not wanting to work with you. And this is also really good open conversations with directors, HR directors, CEO, wellness managers, because it's almost like a pitch email, right? It's like a lot of times when I go to like a lot of corporate meetings or a lot of different events, sometimes when I'm sitting there talking, I'll let them know, hey, do you mind if I send you my one-page flyer? It also just opens up the door, to having a better conversation, or it's a way for me to follow up with them the next day saying, hey, I sent you my one-page flyer last night. Did you have the chance to look at it? So it also gives you that engagement of how do you do that for getting more people into conversations? Because remember, like I said in day one, it's all about heart-centered conversations. Heart-centered conversations will always win. And yes, this is the other thing. I forgot about this one. Don't waste your time with wrong crowds. And I'm going to explain a little bit more what that means. Any questions so far? No? This is like what we talked about on week 2. We were talking about like more of the rainbow method. I'm going to go back to this slide in a few minutes, but I want to just sit. How was this helpful? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how is this helpful?
I thought it was really helpful because I've done a brochure before where it's like the threefold, and
Yes.
what I found is that people were still asking all the questions that were on my brochure. I would hand it out, and then when I would get in contact with moms, they were still asking all the same questions because they didn't see the back of it.
Yeah.
And so this is all on one page. It's very clear and concise and much more simple to print.
Yeah. Yeah. Trifolds are not bad. Okay, so let me comes up. I do like trifolds, but trifolds are good in person. And you're right, a lot of the times they forget. If you come here and you have a trifold, like they know that it's in front of me, right? And then you open it up and then they know that there's something on the back because they give it like it's in front of your hand. Trifolds are not something we send an email to. You know why? Because now what the front of the trifold is going to be on the right side, and the inside of it's going to be here. So it's not going to read left to. Does that make sense? And then when it flips on the bottom, it's going to look like one page because it's just like opening it up a book, and it's just like one side, two side, three side. And it'll look, and it's going to read like a book, which is fine. But the front page part of it is going to be backwards. I just did this with one of my clients earlier this afternoon. Is if you have a trifold, great. That means you have all the information you need. Now turn that into a one-page flyer. Everything's all on one page. Or for this particular course, yes, you're just going to put it and condense it all to one page. And keeping it in the same format of who you are, what you offer, what's happening, making sure you have the benefits, making sure we have the co-creations of case studies, and it doesn't have to be super simple, complicated, and then making sure you have all your banners and things on there. What type of paper do you put it on? So it depends on when you're printing it. I've printed it on just regular paper. Like, or if you go to Kinko's or you go to one of those printing places, You can print it on, yeah, you can print it on the cardstock ones. Don't pay for extra because it's not gonna go very, like, honestly, don't pay for extra. Pay for the thicker paper, like the heavier paper. I know, you know what I mean? There was like paper thin ones and then like heavy paper and then A1 or A10 or something else. Pay for the one that's just like right above it. You don't pay for, unless you're at a vendor and it's going to have like very high level clientele, then yes, pay for the higher ones. But if you're just out and about and you're just having it with you, don't pay for the money. Because other than that, I'd rather you get their email and send them a PDF and then you have their email for follow-ups. Okay. Is business cards effective? It can be. It can be effective. Honestly, I personally don't believe in business cards. I believe in having a conversation, or what I do is I send them a text. And then when I send them a text, I send them my one-page flyer or I send them my information or a contact. The other thing that I do is I'll send them an email right then and there. Hey, what's your email? I'll gather it or send it or give it to me. And then I send them a really quick email right then and there. Business cards are great, except the only problem is how many of you will actually follow up? How many of you will have like business cards? Like I have one right here. Literally. It's funny. I have one right here. And guess what? I've never followed up. It's sitting here. It's a nice stock. It's really nice, handsome gentleman in here. Beautiful. Very nice stock paper. Comes in. And it's still sitting there. And it's still sitting there. So this is where Hi Hello, Dot, a lot of those companies, those ones will become very effective because it's like digital. So you can just tap, you can just cut. I know Hi Hello, you're able to just tap. If you have an iPhone of the things, this one, you can also do the energetic changes of your drop. You can drop it to each other. It's what you want to do is be able to make it where you're able to follow up with them a lot easier. Or the other thing you can do, and we've done this before in other marketing stuff, is we would give them a opt-in form where it has their name, has their number, and then they have to type in their email address because I'm dyslexic, so I will butcher it. So then they have to input it in, and then I'll tell them like you'll automatically get an email right away. So we can automate them. You can automate it where it's here's just a little thing. Can you put your name, your phone number, your name, your email, whatever you want to do, and then within the next 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna get a hi hello email from me automatically. And then that's also easier because now it's in your sent box. And then what you do the next day is just follow right back up. It's all in your sent inbox. So you just have to go in and just input it out. And then you're not having the problem like I do where I can mix up I's and L's and J's and G's and C's and O's. Does that helpful? No. Any other questions? I had someone tell me that it tells me that it's too big when I try to give them a flyer the other day. I roll. Here, you want to come off mute? You want to talk to me? Tell me what happened?
Yeah, it was just a business owner, and I guess he didn't want the one-page flyer that I had. He was just like, "Do you have a business card?" Or I'm not gonna. I forgot what he said. He was just like, "I'm not gonna read it," or just email me. Basically, like he's too much of a big shot to, I guess, read the flyer or take the flyer. So he was just contact me, which he gave me his info. So I followed up with him, but I didn't send my one-page flyer. But then I think I'm missing some things on the one-page flyer, so it's probably better that I didn't send it to him.
A lot of the times because they don't want to carry it. A lot of the
Yeah.
times they don't want to do it because they don't want to carry it. They're literally like, I'm not going to lie to people. If I'm around, I would say the same thing. Or what I would do is just take a picture of it and then I have it for myself.
Mm.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing when people are like, oh, I just don't want to do this. Can you send this to me another way? I actually take that as a compliment too, because now you have his email. Now it's okay,
Yeah.
great. What is the best way I can get a hold of you? What is the best way I can follow up with you? Oh, you know what? Just give me a call next week. Perfect. Set the time and date up right then and there. Be like, does next week, next Tuesday work for you at 10:30 in the morning? And then be like, great. Okay, here. I'm sending you a confirmation right now. So sometimes those things turn them into a positive because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm hands-free. I'm still an ER nurse. I don't like a lot of stuff in my hands. So even like when I go traveling, I don't carry purses. I still don't carry a purse. I am forced to carry a purse when I go to events only because of my one-page flyer. Like, the only reason why. That's it. And then I always have the tendency to forget it somewhere. But my one-page flyer's in it, so people usually call me back and say, "Hey, I have your purse." So it's just one of those situations. So you just want to always remind yourself that it's okay if they don't want it, then just be like, "Can I give it to you a different way?" That's why having it on a PDF or a text message, be like, "Great, I can send it to you via email." And then have it ready to go. So that way it's in their inbox before you even leave. Anytime we go to an event, I always have to remind people, anytime you go to any type of networking event or you have made a contact and you're handing out your one-page flyer, after the initial contact, always send a thank you email. Always send out that thank you email. And like instant, like when you say hi, hello, I'm going to use Richard as an example. We went out for dinner and he gave me this, I call it his Bible book, but we were going through his whole program and asked Richard, like before he left, when he was in his car, the first thing I did is said, "Thank you very much for showing up." Even though he was showing me what he was doing. A thank you goes a long way. And I think a lot of the times people like they forget that. And even though when you're shit tired, because we are when we come out of like I know I've been there, this is where the automations come in. This is where if you have and if you are the type to collect business cards, that's fine. Then go right before you leave or before the night ends, type them in right away and just reach out to them because I guarantee you something like this gentleman, I actually do remember this gentleman now that I'm thinking about it. He does trademarks. That's why I took his number. He took trademarks. So now, yeah, trademarks. That's why I got him. But now it's just, I know that. And when I emailed him, I guess maybe a year ago, it looks like, it's, "Oh, Thomas, thank you so much. I understand. Thank you for the acknowledgement or something that is for trademarks. Whenever I have a trademark thing that I want to trademark, I'll reach out to you. Thank you for your time," or "Thank you for this," whatever it is that the conversation is. I do remember a car now, but do you see how even now, like it drugged my memory where I was like, where is this guy coming from? But now I'm like, this is the trademark guy. Yeah, it's still still fine to keep the cards, but you want to also make sure if you're giving somebody a card, make that conversation so memorable that they know who you are. So if you're not taking back or you didn't get something back, they're going to be like, yes, I remember that conversation. They might not know it in the 24 hours or 48 hours, but later on, this has been sitting here for a couple of months. Literally, I was like, "Oh yeah, I do have a couple of things I need to trademark. Maybe I should research him back." Or if somebody has a conversation for me, "Hey, are you looking for a trademark lawyer?" I honestly can now sit here and say, "Yes, I do." Now, have I used him before? No. But this is how referrals work. This is how those heart-centered conversations work. This is how when you're building your network, it's not always about you giving. It's also about just you putting your word out and then you're planting those seeds, but you want to make those impressions super memorable. That's why these one-page flyers, you want to have it where it's irresistible, where if they have it in their email or if they have it out later, they can be like, "You know what? I remember Jackie, she did something. Hold on one second. Let me look this up real quick." Because we've all done that. So that's where you want to do. And that's why it's super important to keep that core memory or that jog that memory right away before you exit an event. And I know it's a lot. And that 24 and within 24 hours, that thank you email needs to go out.
May I add something?
Yes.
I followed Bina's leadership for a while now, and she's taught me a lot. And I created a one-page flyer that's the size a little bit bigger than a postcard. It's 5x4.
Yeah.
And on this postcard, and I used her philosophy on the problems that I solve and what I do, I went to a networking event and there was a young man in the back of the room, and it was his first time there and my first time there, and the event was basically over, and they asked if anybody wanted to make an announcement, and he made an announcement about a conference that he was doing, and it lit a fire under me of, okay, this is cool. So I walked up and I introduced myself, and I gave him a postcard. And this is what I do. And a lot of people wanted to talk to him, and I didn't want to take his time. So I took his business card. I immediately sent an email saying, thank you for the introduction. I'm interested in your conference. In the last 30 days, we have had a Zoom call. He has sent me his 2 books. I have sent him my book. We are meeting in LA at the end of June so that he can guide me along, because his format had challenges just like mine does, and he's overcome them because he's been doing it for 9 years. The experience I will learn from this guy and the relationship that we have built over a small little postcard and a business card and a thank you has now turned into, I might be able to speak at his conference.
Wow.
And he's going to have some high level people like Mackenzie Phillips and people in recovery speaking at this conference. And I'm going, but that was all because of what Bina showed me with a 1-page flyer that I turned into a postcard. So when it sits on a table, it's not a business card that someone's going to put in their pocket and leave on their desk like Bina has for 2 months. But it's big enough.
This is from a year now.
Yeah. So it's big enough where they have to find something to do with it, put it in their bag or put it somewhere. And it's always going to be there. It's not going to end up on a desk with 25 other pieces. So 1-page flyers go a very long way because there's something that's unique. And everybody has a business card. But like Bina was saying, following up is really important. I sent an email saying thank you. He sent me one about his conference. We set up a Zoom call. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. It ended up being over an hour. We got to know each other. He said, if you get to LA, I can help you out. We can have coffee or lunch. I said, you got a date. I'll be there in June. And I'll show up at his conference in September. And that'll open up more doors. So one little 1-page flyer does go a really long way when you get creative with it. And on my 1-page flyer is a QR code that takes them right to my calendar page to set up an appointment with me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bina, for letting me share.
No, thank you for sharing that, because I can't emphasize enough how much a 1-play flyer can change your life. It's not just about co-creating your business. This is co-creating relationships. So a 1-page flyer is really about relationship building. A lot of times when people go into networks, people get nervous and they go, I don't want to talk about myself. Ugh, I feel weird. I'm one of them. It sounds weird to be true, but I'm one of them. And when I walk around with my 1-page flyer, it's like, oh, what do you do? It's, oh, here you go. It alleviates it, right? And then they will laugh and comes in. And honestly, get creative. Last time it was by accident, okay? My breathe smell, like I comes in, I forgot, it was my perfume. Something spilled in my bag. Love my daughter. I gotta love her. And it came out and it smelled like perfume. Like, I was like, oh, but it kept it. But I was also cautious because some people are allergic to it, right? And so it just happened that there's one girl, she still keeps it. She goes, it still smells like you. I was like, thanks. I'm like, she goes, but because of the mishap of like when I took it out, because of that mishap, again, it leaves an impressible thing. So even though it turned into this big disaster, I had another 1-page flyer that said, I love you, by my daughter and my kids. And it got sent out. Like it got sent out. And I was like, there you go. And I got a text message back from this particular company. And they were like, we love your daughter too. I was like, huh? And so they sent me a picture and they go, yeah, I think we got the wrong one or something. And I was like, oh my God. So it's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to come in, but it's also a good way, especially when you're in networking events. And I've had this just like Richard. Here we are. Here are my kids. Just like Richard, right? Where I've just placed it down and I was like, hey, I know you're super busy, but here you go. Comes in. I would love to connect with you. Come here. You're going to come. So I'm on a call and you got to tell me this right now. Here, if you're going to come say hi, if not, go downstairs.
Hi.
Okay. You want to tell the world what you got?
Trophy.
You got a trophy.
Oh.
Congratulations. You won chess.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Okay, go take it downstairs. Don't drop it. Take it down so you can show Daddy later. Oh. In the morning. No, in the morning. Yep. We always tell him a day later, because I never know with planes and traffic and. Here's number 2.
I have a phone.
Okay.
Daddy's phone.
All right. Can you say hi to the world?
Huh?
Say hello.
The world.
Hi,
Everyone-
world.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Can we go downstairs and go have dinner and I'll be down.
That's the world over there.
She literally is in the world. You are correct. And he is literally on top of the world right now. That is very observant. Okay. I'm on a call. Thank you. Okay.
Don't push me.
Okay. I'm gonna not be surprised if the third one comes up. They're coming in order, apparently. So, is this helpful? Comes in? Anything you guys want me to review? Because I can't emphasize enough, the minute you have your clarity of your offer, you need to have that first. It needs to be super, super clear. And that's why, like I was putting down, and I'll resend it here, which is trademarked by chance, not by this gentleman though, is the rainbow method, right? We want to make sure what is the problem, what are you solving, and really going through each color of the rainbow being a clarity of what problem you're going to solve. So online visibility is a problem. What are you going to do to solve it? Maybe your solution is LinkedIn. An unclear offer, maybe your solution is coming into my program. I'm just giving examples. Who's the decision makers? If you're looking at things, who are the decision makers? Maybe it's CEOs, maybe it's CNOs, maybe it's just moms that just came out from first time moms. Maybe it's parents with special needs. And then the be memorable part, a lot of the times that can be a problem because some people are like, overthink this, right? They overthink this one. What do you mean by be memorable? It's just like, you can be as silly as you want. And I'm trying to find something on here. Can't find it now. But it's just, I have these little clipping cards like I have with my, I would sit here and when I go to events, actually, Stephanie is the one that gave me this idea. I have Stephanie's little card that she gave me in North Carolina. So being memorable is also comes in where it's little trinkets that you do or whatever you say, and it just makes it feel like you're loved and supported. So you really just want it, and it could just be completely unique to yourself. And it could just be where a letter before you leave. I had another client, she would hand these out. And then before she left, it was pre-signed, pre-done, like she just did it. She did open it up and she would write down the person's name. So before the event was even done, she'd go back and reintroduce herself, which is smart. And she goes, hey, you know what? Here, this is for you. And would have their name. And Arena would be like, hi, Arena, it was nice to meet you. And you'd be like, how in the heck did she like do all this in an hour and a half to 2 hours? Because it was already pre-written and she just put the person's name in front. And then the other best part is that she got creative. She put a flyer, one-page flyer on the top. She just pasted it, or she put a QR code that went to her one-page flyer, or a QR code that went to her Calendly. Oh, I would love to meet with you. I like stickers because it can just go on anything. So you can put a QR code to her calendar link and it literally just put, I'd love to see you next time on Zoom. Can't or catch you on Zoom or something. She wrote something cute and clashy, but it was enough to be like, wow, that was really thoughtful. And I'm not saying to do this for 150 people. All I'm saying is to do this for the ones that you want to make an imprint on.
Can I,
Because it does
can
go
I
a long way.
offer something else?
Absolutely, Richard.
I've done that. I've gone to not a networking event, but to a conference, and I've taken thank you cards with me. And I listen to people speak, and the speakers that I want to connect with after lunch, I give them a card with their name on it.
Yeah.
So this is for Bina Bindell. I loved what you had to say. I would love to learn more about what you have to offer. I'd like to connect. And I give them my information.
Yeah.
And the response I get, the feedback I get is, oh my God, this guy gave me something. And it's right there in their hand. And they don't want to be rude and throw it away, so they keep it. And then later on, they look up and go, I should connect with this guy. And I have sent out maybe a dozen at a conference and got at least 10 replies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's coming from a heart-centered place, and they appreciate it rather than saying, hi, this is my business card, thanks for whatever. But that little thing that she has in her hand is powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful. So when I go to conferences, I will get thank you cards. I'll put them in my little bag. And as I see different speakers or different people that I'm impressed with, at lunchtime, I'll write out a few cards by myself. And before the conference is over, I'll go up and introduce myself and say, here, this is for you.
Yeah.
And don't have to say much more. I go, oh, thank you. And
Yeah.
yes,
This one I would spend a little bit more money on. Make sure this is on that card stock, whatever it is, because these ones you'd be surprised with. These ones people keep. Like they do keep these ones. These ones, like this is one that I put so it's like it can be on your stand or it comes in. This is something I made honestly like 3 years ago. I probably redesign it a little bit more. And the only thing I would add honestly is to this is when it opens up my QR code to Calendarly. If I kept this, because I probably have 50 or 60 of these. So even though I've done this 3 years ago, it's like, how do we keep it so it's fresh and things? And I don't put them in I don't put them in an envelope like you can. What I would do then is if my 5x7 is this big, I would I have a gift for you. So they get a thank you and they get they get my one-page flyer at the same time. So it does this, that's why heart-centered conversations with the one-page flyer, it's not about visibility really. Your one-page flyer is really truly about those heart-centered conversations and those heart-centered connections. And a lot of the times that goes the longest way. And also I've learned the same thing when a lot of people ask me, they go, how did you get some of these deals? How are you getting things when you're at Charm? I literally buy this. I put it in, I come up, and then I'm like, oof, I really want to work with this company. Oh, that HR director's here. I saw her. She came through. Or conversations that I knew that were going to be more like it was easier for me to close, if that makes sense. And there's some conversations like, yeah, I'm good. And they're just there for freebies. And you're just like, okay, you're like, all right, fine. Or the ones that are, I'm having a multiple conversation. Now, if I'm at a conference, I know they're going to come back, right? Or I'm going to find them again, or I try to find them again. So those are the ones if I went and seeked those people back out and I said, hey, comes in, here we go, they're going to be like, wow. And I don't have it on me, but I gave out these little giraffes. And I had these little giraffes, and for the conversations that I felt was like higher level conversations or whatever, I would get on these calls, and even a year later, they'd be like, you know what, Bina, I still have your giraffe here. Little momentums goes a long way. Sorry, what was it in the chat, Anahi? Oh. So, sorry, I was just like, someone was messaging me and that comes in. Any other questions you guys have? How many of you guys feel comfortable doing a one-page flyer? A little bit?
I do have a suggestion.
Yeah.
For anybody that can use Canva, you can create anything you choose to create on Canva, and they will print it for you.
Yeah.
At an inexpensive price, cheaper than Staples or anywhere else, and they will send it to you.
Yeah.
So all my little postcards that I got very inexpensively, and Canva printed them out for me and sent them to me in a nice little box. And it was cheaper than if I would have went to Staples or Office Depot or whatever they're called, because I don't have any of those things where I live. But they will do that for you.
Yeah. And if you're having a hard time with Canva or it comes in, Anna, he's going to put in the chat, we can go over it with you. Come on a call with us. Like, we can help you with that. The one thing, if you do come on a call though, is you need to have your offer set. That is going to be the biggest thing. And so if you're still, how many of you have your offers 110% dialed in?
I do.
Yeah. That's going to be your biggest key. If you can get your offer to 110% where I know exactly who I'm talking to, I know exactly where my audience is, I know exactly where I can find them, then the one-page flyer is the one-page flyer is going to be very easy to do. And honestly, it would take me or Anna Heath no less than 15 minutes to make. That's how easy it can get. Now, if you don't have your offer 100% secured, or you're still, I'm not sure here, or I'm comes in, still come on a call with us. Let's work that out then. Maybe then that's when you can either come onto my membership, or that's when maybe we talk about joining either the cohort or coming into my one-on-one container. One thing I can tell every single one, I do never, ever give a return of investments. I don't promise it for two reasons. Because if you don't do the work, guess what? That's your fault. I can't help you with that. What I can do is help you with return of decisions, return of choices. I can help you with networking. I can help you with how to make this elevate so you're memorable and how to have those heart-centered conversations. Because that's where a lot of the times coaching, you guys all know what to do. That's powerhouses. Get on any call, we can coach. It's just the in-between stuff sometimes it can get blurry. So if you're feeling that and it comes in, we'll put the calendar link in the chat. Book on a call. I'm here to help. I'm not here to sell to comes in, but I want to make sure you guys are served in a most powerful way. And I know Zoe, me and you have spoken about different things, so we can get back on another call when you're ready. But let me know how we can help. And I know I've spoken to a couple of you guys already. It's a couple of you already. And whoever's watching this recording, because I know there was like 7, 8, 9 of you that stated they couldn't make it on this particular call, whether it was family reasons, work reasons, some other reasons, like book a call with me so that way we can talk about that. Because the minute you have clarity on what you want to co-create and it's on a global level, right? So your North Star is very clear, then everything else comes into place. You'd be surprised when you go to networking events. You'd be surprised when you go to conversations. Heck, the other day, I was just making a conversation with somebody at Safeway. I was sitting there in line for so long, and I was like, oh my God, this is kicking me. And they're like, I forgot what it was. The lady was laughing. Again, it's with my kids. And I was like, oh man. And so the lady behind me was like, what is it that you do for a living? She goes, you have a lot of patience for your kids. And I was like, not really. I don't think what's internal might be CPSable. But externally, yes. And so she's like, what do you do? We were just chit-chatting as moms. And it just happened that it didn't just happen. She was very obviously pregnant. And she was asking me about parenting tips and how to stay calm in these things. And I happened to have my one-page flyer. And I did not know this, but I pulled out my one-page flyer with parents with special needs, not my regular just hi, hello, one-page flyer. And I actually gave her the wrong one. She started crying, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Comes in. I was like, yes, all 3 of my kids are autistic. So, I do help parents with special needs. And she, what she told me? She goes, my son is going to be born with Down syndrome. She goes, that was not intentional. And I was like, oh, and we're getting on a call in 2 weeks. So sometimes just know that the universe works the way it's supposed to work. And sometimes when you just have it and things fall out and you're just like, that didn't understand it all. But if I wasn't clear with what my multiple offers are, right? Because I do have multiple offers, then it's like, I know who I can talk to in what language, depending on what client I'm looking for. Sometimes if you are multifaceted or multi-passionate or multi-income like me, I have multiple one-page flyers in my thing. And there's nothing wrong with that either, because then they see me take out some of the stuff and they're like, oh, can I have the other ones? What else do you do? Can I have the rest? What's going on here? They go, how do you do all of this? And then my Supermom CEO one comes out. And then we have conversations. So again, it always goes back to that open conversation with how it goes. And the same thing happened to me a couple of weeks ago with, anyways, I can go on with stories and stories with how it comes in, but it really goes back down to that clarity piece. Who am I talking to, and how do I make it memorable in that moment? Awesome. Any other questions? I'm really shocked my kids are not running up and down the stairs. I'm really surprised. And those are the two that are not feeling good. So yeah, maybe I'm just on high alert.
I like what you said about creating different one-page flyers, because I have a one-page flyer for my program. I have a
Yep.
one-page flyer for my book,
Yeah.
and it goes in every book that I send out. Goes a one-page flyer with a Calendly link on that flyer. And to be honest, I have a lot of fun on Canva creating. So
The other thing I like about that is when we have multiple one-page flyers, if you have Calendarly, you're able to track which, if you have multiple offers, you're able to track which one is getting more attraction. Arena, like I saw your head turn. So what I mean by this is if you are doing leadership with corporations and say you have another part where you're helping somebody career boost. I'm just using career coaching on the side, just something that's comparable to what you're doing. If you have a calendar link for career coaching, then you know exactly, oh, this is a career coaching call. If I'm going onto the corporation and you coming in with leadership, oh, this is a leadership call. So it does set you up for success even on the call. So when you're on, I have a LinkedIn calendar link where I know exactly, oh, this is a LinkedIn connection call. So having those co-create, it's easier for you to track where they're coming from. Don't do that, please. No, come here. You want to co-create where it comes from, and then you're able to track more and more. So that way it's just like when you get on a call, thanks. You're lucky you guys are all on Zoom. Then it's able to track it more. So like when we're having these discovery calls and they start showing up more and you're doing more lead gens and multiple people are now booking you 3 to 4 calls a week, right? That's the average of what we try to get, or what you want is you want at least three new people on your calendar a week. And then oh, LinkedIn is what's been serving me the best. All right, I'm going to put more energy here. You know what? Instagram's been serving me best. I'm gonna put more energy on Instagram. Maybe it's the in-person ones, or like for me, I know I shine in networking events. Like that I do know. One, because I don't have little kids like this one running around after me and I don't have to play mom and be here. So I know that's where I shine the best too. And then on my networking ones, I have a specific one from that event. So I know, oh, I got it from Richard's conference, or I got it from Jeannie's conference. So then I also can tell that when they book it, I can be like, where did I meet you from? I forget. I have my own ADHD issues. I forget. This will help keep that. It helps you stay organized. And that's why I love stickers, is because then you're able, the QR code, you can just switch it out. You don't have to reprint. Because if you put a QR code on the flyer, which is great, but then you can also change up the QR code to where it goes to, too.
Sorry, so you mean there's different Calendly links
Correct.
for each? Okay.
For each event. That is correct. Yeah. So say you're going to a holistic nursing conference, right? And say you also have an HR conference coming up, and say you have, I don't know, I don't know, I'm just give another example, right? Where you're doing something else. And sometimes what happens is then if you have 10 calls from here, 10 calls from here, 10 calls from here, I'm not going to remember who they're from. So if I have a QR code or a link specifically for that event, then I know very clearly, oh, that's from Bottle Rock. That's coming up this weekend. Or that's from Charm event. Or that's from his school. So then if I know I'm frequently at schools, like because I am an IEP advocate, right? So I help a lot of parents with special needs in the IEP world. I give them that same QR code. So then I know, oh, this is from Dublin, or this is this particular thing. They need help with the advocacy part, not a client that's going to be a one-on-one, or a client in my world, a client that's going to be for like corporations. Because those 3 calls, that's where I get majority of my income. Those 3 calls are all different. I come on with a different energy. I'm coming on, maybe, the one-on-ones, it's more of, okay, if I know it's a one-on-one call, I'm going to send them some information prior. Maybe I'm going to send them a little diagnostic tool that I do send out. Hey, here's something. Can you please just take this so I know how to best support you? So when we're on their call, I'm not wasting a lot of time with what did you do? Where'd you go? What program did you come in? We're already having a game plan of what we can do. Whereas like with parents with special needs, I'll give them a separate something. And that would be like, are you looking for IEP support? Are you looking for an advocate? Or are you just looking to just hang out? Honestly, a lot of the times, like, I just want to hang out. Great. Now I don't have to sit here and be like, it's a different energy. And then like with the corporations, that one's a way different energy. It's like, I send them a PDF, I send them my ebook. Do you have any questions? Please review this before the call. And then when I'm on my call, it's how can I best support you? What services are you looking for that I can generate or I can co-create? And that helps me know, okay, this can be a 15-minute call. That's definitely an hour call. And these ones are 30 minutes. So it also helps you set up your time as well. But that all comes in with, if you know your offers and if you're giving out your one-page flyers, it helps you navigate your time for the rest of the week. Because if, like for me, on average, if I go to a networking event, I know exactly how many people I will get from that particular workshop or that particular event. I generally get, just like Richard, I generally get anywhere from, actually I lied, at Charm, I think I got like 75 leads. It was pretty impressive. Like it was very robust. So I was expecting 75 people on my call within the next week or 2 weeks. And thank you, Richard. And guess what? I had about 25 people come on my call. Now 25 times 30, it's a lot of calls. But now if I knew that I'm looking for a large contract here or a lunch and learn, then I'm going to maybe suspend some of my one-on-one clients, or I would definitely suspend the parents with special need one for a little bit. I won't hand it out as much because I don't have the capacity, because my energy is right there in that moment. Now, if I have the capacity, month of May is very high in advocacy world. I don't know why. It's always this end of the school year. It's super high. Now I know when I go out, like I have room. I make sure I have room for these types of parents right now. But guess what? Now my other calls goes down. So I'm able to juggle it out and really systematically put my energy where I want it to grow. That makes sense? Did it help?
Yeah.
Oh. Any other questions you guys have?
I have a quick question for the one-page flyer. Most of my outreaching is online right now on Facebook, on social media. That still would be good for beneficial for, I'm not necessarily printing it out right now.
Yeah. You can either put it on Messenger, or what I would do is once you get them into the DMs, when you ask for their email, you'll get their emails, send it to them via email. Put it into your nurture sequence.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can
That
help
makes
you with
sense.
that. Yeah, we'll help you put that into your nurture sequence. That would be the best place for that. So it gives a really good overview. And when you're doing your workshops for your faith-based program, when you're doing your weekly workshops, place that into the chat. Anna, he does. Here's what comes in. here's my page so you guys can download.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Cool.
And then
Thank
for everyone that joins or comes, they can then just get that as a thank you as well. Like we can add that into your nurturing sequence as part of your thank you for follow-up.
you. Okay.
Yeah. And if I forget that, remind me. We can help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. Any other questions? Just like always, let me know how, hold on. How do you guys feel? How did this help you? And I'd like to see some of the comments below. How was this workshop helpful? Did you not eat your food? Huh? Go down and eat. Go. No. No, thank you. We're not doing emojis.
One emoji.
No.
One.
Oh my God. You guys were gonna get emojis. Here we go. So here we are. Here we go. And okay, you guys, this is, oh my God. So thank you. This is the world of kids now. And this is where I always tell people, like, you gotta just, even when you have distractions, we can still be fully present. Yeah, monkeys. Oh, okay. Hold on. We can play with this afterwards with Anna He, okay? Afterwards, we can stay on a little bit. All right. Any other questions or concerns? It looks like my time is up because I don't think my kids are going to get me to do anything else at this point. And I will see you guys all next time.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Bina.
Thank you.
Candice.
No, Anna He will stay by, and then we can come in. You guys can play.